What's going on, folks? I'm your host, Cardo Deli, another episode of All Around. On this episode, we're going to jump right into the 69th annual Portsmouth Invitational. Quick rundown for those who may not know what the Portsmouth Invitational is. It's pretty much the kickoff to the NBA pre-draft season. It's the longest running pre-draft showcase in the country. What it does is field 64 of the top seniors in college basketball to come to Portsmouth, Virginia, do battle in front of who's who in the NBA front office and FIBA front offices and try to secure a spot, job, whether it be moving up, moving their profile up to a point where they can possibly get drafted or they can sign a two-way exhibition 10 to get in the NBA, play some G League ball, or, if the NBA say they're not quite ready for that level, head overseas to various leagues or whatnot. So it's a very competitive environment, very um, just very prestigious environment, very prestigious showcase. Hall of Fame players have came out of here. All Star guys currently are playing. Like Jimmy Butler, key role players on championship caliber teams that play here. You see, I'm thinking of Derek White in Boston. So it's a very big deal to be invited to the showcase and to show what you got and maybe show the NBA aspects of your game that you may not have been able to show them during your college career or college season as that chapter of your basketball journey comes to a close. With that being said, we're gonna start with the opening night, man. The first game was between Mike Doom and Auto Sales versus Portsmouth Sports Club and Mike Doom. They won 96-84. It was a very exciting game. A lot of beautiful guard play, blending in with a lot of versatile big play. You know what I mean? It was a good mix. I love what I saw from the bigs where they were not just standing outside the 3 point line, just jacking threes, trying to fit, to what a lot of spreadsheets say how they should play. They capitalize on weaknesses in the defense, and they show they could do a little bit of it all. And I'm gonna note that with a couple bigs, especially. But look, leading scorers, obviously, Darius McGee, who I'm gonna talk about a lot. Who I'm definitely going to talk about a lot in this broadcast. He shined with 22 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 blocks. Now you might say, 2 blocks, that's cool. He's playing good defense, but 2 blocks is extraordinary for a 5'9" point guard. You're gonna see what I'm talking about as the broadcast moves on. I have some clips of him showing his defensive prowess that isn't talked about as much as his big time shot making, and it is big time. Next up is Tyson Hunter, who has a reputation of being a deep range shooter, and he showcased that shooting ability. He finished with 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 steals in 30 minutes. He shot 6 of 10 from the field and was 5 for 7 from deep. Next up was Javon Johnson. He was under the ball, was scored 17 points and 3 rebounds. And Ed Croswell out of Providence, man. He really impressed me. I watched him throughout the season. He kind of stuck inside, more of a beast, super athletic beast inside. Um, but nah, he showed he could do a little bit more. He's a perfect pick and roll guy because he's physical, he's athletic, and he understands the game, and he understands how to make himself be big and be open to finish plays. Um, he finished with 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists, and 7 of 14 shooting for the field. On Portsmouth Sports Club side, they were led by Tiger Campbell, who really impressed. Finished with a double double, 18 points, 10 assists, with only 3 turnovers, so 7 of 13 shooting from the field, 2 of 3 from deep. He made the game very easy for Portsmouth Sports Club. They just couldn't get enough stops on Mike Newman's guards the way they were shooting the ball from deep. And, that's the reason why they came up short. Next up, Jake Stevens. He finished with 14 points and 5 rebounds and 4 of 6 shooting. Then you had Rozzy Bowden, who finished with 13 points and 3 assists. And after that, you go to Pete Nance out of North Carolina, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, 5 of 9 from the field, 2 of 4 from deep. I'm especially talking about him. But that's just the recap portion of this. I'm gonna get to the standouts right away from that game. We're gonna start with Hunter Tyson. Look, I love what I saw from him. Uh, it wasn't just the fact that he hit a bunch of threes. Obviously, he has a reputation of being a shooter. It's the way he shot those threes. Transition, getting his feet set, squaring up to the basket, no hesitation. Obviously, being 6'8", moving without the ball, hitting spot ups threes and threes off the bounce. Excuse me. And you know, showing the ability to defend multiple positions. He literally fits the mold of what the NBA is thriving at, what they're looking for in abundance, and that's a 3 and D guy, and he can fit that mold right now. Here's the example of what I'm talking about. He pops out, hits the three. Obviously, McGee finds it with ease, and it was just just showcasing what he does. Simple, simple slip of the screen, knockdown shooter. Nance was a little bit slow to get out there and take away his airspace. He made a pay on the next one. This is in transition. This is in transition. Gee, once again, pushing the ball up the floor. Now watch him. Watch how he shot the three. That's beautiful right there. Watch how Tyson shoots the three. I'm gonna play it one more time. He didn't wait for the ball to get to him. He was getting his body square and his feet up under him as the ball was coming. The defender had no chance. He didn't even have enough time to even try to close out because by the time the ball got to him, the defender reacted. He was already in, full blown shooting motion, and he made a pay. That's his NBA skill right there. Hitting the three ball and defending multiple positions. That's what's going to get him a job. And, I know it definitely impressed. That's why he's here. It was fun watching him shoot the ball like that, man, because he's shooting it like a pro already. And there's very few players that could do that at an efficient rate like he did, man. So, like he did at least on the first night for him, is just continue to do that throughout the week. Next up, next up is Tiger Campbell. Splitting the double team, getting in the lane with ease, just scoring, man. He's a prototype point guard, man. He capitalizes on whatever the defense allows. You know what I'm saying? If you need to score, if he breaks you down to the point where he can see an opening to score, he does that. If he breaks the defense down to the point where he sees his opening spot of shooters, guys rolling to the basket, lob plays or whatnot, he does that, man. His vision is incredible, man. I love the way how he made the game so easy for his guys. Like I said, their issues came more so on the defensive end as the game went on, fatigue set in or whatnot. And Mike Newman took advantage of that, which I will touch on. But it was beautiful just seeing him operate. Just play chess out there, and it looked like they was heading for a nice little win for a while. But like I said, he got back to the defensive end, and here's another transition, getting the rebound, pushing the ball up the floor. No one picks him up. Gets in the lane, dumps it off of Pete Nance for an easy dish. Now he could have easily scored that on his own. Got more points on the board. But now he fed his big man. Big man ran the floor. Big man out there defending. And as Shaq once said, if the big dog don't get fed, the house won't get guarded. So he's feeding his big man. So his big man to have his back on the defensive end. You know what I mean? So, that's essential, just great guard play. And that's why he's one of the top point guards in America. And that's why he finished with a double-double. Nice reward for the big man, even sealing the and that's just unselfishness, helping unselfishness. Because if you notice, Nance, he actually sealed his man, so his man couldn't get a chance to run to try to block Tiger Campbell's shot, and then Campbell repaid his unselfishness by being unselfish with an easy dish, so he can dunk the ball and get a nice bucket. Man, I love what I saw from that, on that sequence, man. Also, once again, we're going to keep it moving on this with more standouts. Okay, a little bit technical difficulty. Ed Croswell. Ed Croswell just running the floor. Big man not hustling, not running with him. Easy dunk. He did that countless times, countless times, countless times. And that's one of the things that I didn't know he could do. I know he's athletic. I know he's strong in the paint. I know in the half court he's a beast, especially screen and roll situations, posting up. He can get deep inside the paint. He can back his man down, finish with either hand, turnarounds, jump hooks, whatnot, get to the free throw line. But I didn't know he can run the floor this good and this consistently. And he showed it all throughout Portsmouth in the first day. You know what I'm saying? And even having the patience to not just run, let the play develop. And that's a weakness for a lot of players. They just run hard and they don't allow the play, the floor, the space, and the play to develop. And by him slowing up the play to develop, and defenders were lost trying to identify their guys, and he saw that. Then he sprinted right into the lane. They found him. Easy dunk, man. I love the way he played, man. He just played like a beast. He played like a beast. He took, all the other bigs that, you know, that Portsmouth had, Nance and Jake Stevens from Chattanooga. He put his chest in, he put his shoulder into that chest and went at him. And he finished with a hell of a night, man. 17 and 8, man. So 3 offensive rebounds on top of that, pretty efficient, 7 of 14 from the field, man. So for him, it was just good to see. I think he fit what you see in the league, especially where I'm at in the DC area. Gafford, just pick and pop guys, pick and slip guys that can also, possibly pop out, hit some mid range jumpers, and the guys that can get to the free throw line, but also rim protect and rebound, run the floor, man. Because sometimes when you run the floor as a big, it's not even about you getting the ball. You suck the defense in, and what do the a lot of NBA teams like to do now, shoot threes. So when you suck the defense in, it's too hard for guys to come from the paint and try to recover and get out to 3-point shooters, especially in transition. So that's a skill in itself, man. And you saw and you see that he's fully capable of utilizing that skill, if you get a shot at the next level. Next up, we're gonna move to Emoji Gibson out of DePaul. I love what he did as well. He was one of those guards, um, that helped Tiger Campbell, man. That for the most part, I say about 3/4 with Portsmouth Sport Club. They controlled the game, and it wasn't just Tiger Campbell. Emoji Gibson was another one that did his thing, man. Look, the box score won't say. I know he finished with 8 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. He didn't shoot the ball well, but he was out there facilitating, setting things up greatly, and they were doubt he was a big reason why Tiger Campbell needed a rest. So when they tried to key in on Tiger and trying to trap or whatnot, he picked up the slack for the most part through 3 quarters and kept things moving. And especially setting up the bigs, it was just beautiful play after play, man. So you look, man, you can't knock it, man. I love what he did. He just got to shoot the ball better, and then he'll definitely open some eyes if he continues to pass like he did, get after defensively like he did, pressure the ball full court, and also you know just being more efficient hit shots. Simple as that. Pete Nance out of North Carolina, obviously a skilled guy. He showed that in North Carolina, but he's also more physical than I thought he was. He played like he played like how a big should in the modern game. Being physical when it's necessary inside, but also showing the ability to step out, hit mid range shots, and hit threes. And he did that, especially from the top of the key. Tiger Campbell set him up a lot, and he added to Tiger Campbell's assist total because he finished well. He finished efficiently. He was 5-9 from the field, 2 or 4 from deep. It made Croswell and those guys have to play him honestly and stay out the paint, which allowed Tiger Campbell and those guys to get in the paint. The big's not there, and it's too hard for them to try to run down and recover, man. So I thought he was very impressive. Also defensively, he was active. Definitely trying to rim protect, flying in, trying to alter shots. He had 2 blocks. And then one thing I didn't know, he was solid at when he got switched out on guards. He can move his feet and stay with a lot of those guards, man. At least hold up enough where it doesn't compromise the defense. So that was very great to see. And last but not least, Darius McGee. Whew, uh, reputation as a big shot maker, uh, but you know it doesn't do him justice. Once again, technical difficulties, unfortunately. Um, had to put in an article when I post this, but look, man, he was especially special, man. He had the 30 footer. They left him deep. They didn't think he had that range. No hesitation, pulled up from that. He went at Tiger Campbell. You have to just be honest. He went at Tiger Campell, relentless, especially in that fourth quarter where he had those big shots and he put pressure on Tiger Campbell constantly with his scoring. And it wasn't just that; he was also facilitating the transition. He played a hell of a chess game in the first half. He was setting guys up, getting them going. Then when the game got tight and it looked like he was pulling away, Portsmouth was about to pull away in the third. That's when he woke up and got going. And man, he lived in the paint. He scored efficiently in the paint, and he hit some big time threes. I mean, big threes, contested, bigger wings flying out at him, coming off screens, getting fouled, 4-point plays. He was on top of his game, man. And if it's one player I have to point to that dominated, that you can say, all right, which player really stood out the entire day of the day one, he's it, man. And he's the reason why they won, came back and won, and pulled out the victory, man. So it was very impressive, man. To be that 5'9", and then not to knock that. My thing with small guards, if you're gonna be a small guard, you gotta be able to defend. It's no excuse. You already a liability because of your size. You won't be able to guard multiple positions. You won't be physical enough to bother bigger guards, bigger wings, and whatnot. So you really have to pressure the point guard. You really have to be able to move your feet. You can't be a liability where they just getting by you as well as being able to shoot over you. McGee is none of that. He makes shots similar. He reminds me a lot with his shot making of Earl Boykins because of their size. But he gets after it defensively. He's a pest, man. Yeah, he's a pest. And he recovers well. Even when you get a step on, he recovers well. And one thing I love about him, he's more athletic than he's given credit for. He'll meet you up top, and he got a couple blocks. You know what I'm saying? You know, with him with his shot making, and then obviously shutting guys' water off. In particular, he got a key block on Gibson late in the game, and drove the ball up and scored a transition three. Look, yeah, he showed that he was the total package, and if he continues the all around play, excellence of play that he showed in day one, league gotta give him a strong look. They gotta ignore the size and give him a strong look, man, because production means something, man. The way he can knock down shots, man, and facilitate and then defend, man, you can't just that's something you can't teach, man. Special talent, man. But that's enough for game one. We're gonna move on to the next game with K&D Rounds taking on Portsmouth Partnership. K&D Rounds pretty much cruised to a 104-82 win over K&D. K&D Rounds, Portsmouth, K&D Rounds cruised to a 104-82 win over Portsmouth Partnership. Excuse me. Multitasking right here. Look, it was pretty close in the first half, but I think from what I saw when Kendrick Davis woke up in the second half, that was it. It took him a while. It took him. I think he was trying to find his game. Playing with new players, trying to see when to assert himself, learn the other guys on the fly. Um, Also show that he's more than just a scoring point guard, that he can also run the team and whatnot. I think in the second half, it's clear that the coaches told him, "Yo, just play your game," and he definitely did that. And when he exploded in the second half, it was a wrap. Like he scored 18 points. He led the team with 18 points, and most of that came in the second half. But K&D Rounds, they were led by Sir Jabari Rice. I'm gonna touch on him in a little bit. He actually led the team. My apologies. He actually led the team with 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists on 8 of 13 shooting from the field. I'm gonna definitely touch on him. His offense speaks for itself. The efficiency and the numbers he put up, but defensively, he got a shot. He's special. You just talked about Davis out of Memphis, 18 points, 5 assists. Didn't shoot the ball well in the first half, but he woke up a little bit in the second half, and he had some big time shots to really just put them ahead for good. And Portsmouth couldn't really recover. Kevin O'Banner, if it's a player of that game, he's definitely it. 17 points, 12 rebounds, 4 offensive, 4 of 10 from deep, 6 of 14 from the field. And then we're going to look at Hunter Maldonado, 12 points and 8 assists, 5-8 shooting from the field, 6'7" guard out of Wyoming. Did his thing. Just solid all around. He saw that O'Banner had it going. He saw when Sir Jabari Rice had it going. So when Davis woke up, just played the floor game and got his within the flow, and played solid defense. That's the best way I could describe him. He was just over the top solid, and he was the key he was really the key because he was just steady all game. He was really the key. Is the reason why K and D just pulled away for Portsmouth's partnership. Tamati Kamara, man, 27 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 10 to 17 from the field, 2 of 5 from deep, 5 of 6 from the free throw line. He led Portsmouth. Next up was Desmond Cambridge with 15 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Had far too many turnovers. Had about 6. Got cut that down for sure. And Joe Bryan Jr., late addition, Norfolk State, MEAC Player of the Year, proved he belonged. 13 points, 6 assists. Not his usual efficient self, full 14 from the field, but I think as he get acclimated, that'll get better. I'm gonna start with Tumani Kamara. Saw a lot of him. Obviously, if you follow me, cover GW, been following him throughout his entire career, playing for Dayton, and he's steadily gotten better and better. And you saw his complete game today, man. His versatility is what I think makes him an NBA player in my eyes. Being 6'9", 6'10", the way he can shoot from the perimeter, handle the rock, post up, dunk, pick and rolls, defend most of the positions. That's the thing. Like he could legitimately stop 2, 3s, and 4s, and even smaller 5s. He can literally guard those guys, man. And the beautiful thing I love that they showed in this game that he didn't necessarily get a chance to show at Dayton is he can play point. He can handle the ball. He has a good floor vision, and he did. He brought the ball up numerous times to initiate the offense. Um, Made the right pass, which led to the right pass for other guys to score. He played a beautiful all around game, man. And look, he could. I don't expect him to average 27. It's just the flow of how everything goes. Other guys can wake up. Coaches can put the ball in their hands as this thing go. But his all around impact, I definitely expect to see, and I definitely expect to see him. His prospects and profile, take a boost. With NBA eyes, man. I think he showed that he's a lot better than what he was able to show within the system at Dayton. And that's not a knock on Dayton, man. You got to run your system what's best for the all around team, man. But that's the beautiful things about seeing guys fully play. Sometimes they gotta, you know, play certain roles or play certain styles for the benefit of the team, but that doesn't mean they can't do other things. And that's what you saw with Kamara. Kendrick Davis came in big out of Memphis. Obviously has a reputation as being a big time scorer. Got out to a slow start. Like I said, just trying to find his rhythm, find his feel and roll with the team he's on at K&D. But in the second half, he got aggressive, um, started hitting shots, started being him offensively. One thing I like, 94 feet, real 94 feet. He was glued to guys, and it was hard for guys to get him up off of him, even with screens. He was fighting around screens, staying with guys, and that was probably the most underrated part of why Candy Rounds pulled away and won this game convincingly, pretty much by a dub. So I thought he was big time, man. Like I said, just him just staying in rhythm throughout the game and allowing the game to come to him and just being confident in his game, and I think he'll be fine. Serge Rice out of Texas, special man. Special. If he's gonna be hitting shot like this and playing the type of defense he's playing, he's special. He has the body type of Bones Highland. He's 6'4", but his wingspan is so crazy that he could play a lot bigger than he is. He could play bigger wings because he simply can get away from it. I can't tell you how many times watching him once again pressure the ball full court, where all he did was stick his arm out, his hand out, and he was bothering ball handlers with his left, and he didn't even have to go anywhere. That's just something you can't teach, man. That's what you really call a ball hawk. Because even when you get a step on those type of guys, they're still with you, and they're tough to get around. They're tough to beat, and they're tough to navigate, man. And they're tough to get off you. Then you add in the fact that his ability to hit shots and his athleticism and his toughness. Uh, I love what I saw. Look, you need guys that can defend in the league, especially with the shot making and abundance of threes going up, but also, not many willing defenders in the league anymore. So if you really bring it on that end, as well as hit the wide open shots, which is what young players' roles normally are for the most part, coming into the league, you gotta be able to play off the stars and hit open shots and defend and whatnot, as well as pass when it's necessary. You got a shot of not only sticking but boosting your role within the team because you maximizing your role, you being a star in your role. And Serge Barry Rice, he showed that he's fully capable, that he has the talent to do that. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes as the week goes on. Kevin Obenar, nothing flashy about him at all. He just hits shots and does the dirty work. Simple as that. But hitting shots and doing the dirty work helps you win games, and every coach is looking for that at every level, and that's what he brought to the table. He hit a few threes to keep the defense and defense honest. I cannot tell you how many second chance points he contributed to just by flying and getting offensive rebounds because nobody kept a body on him. Then defensively, he was roughing two, three dudes out the paint and going up and getting the board at 6'8". And 230, a big boy. He's a big wing. So and he sure he used that. He used what he had to make an impact, man. So you, the only negative with him is those 5 turnovers or whatnot. Had a couple airball threes in transition, but that's first game jitters. I expect once guys settle in, I expect guys to play much better. They know what to expect. They got the rhythm. They understand what their teammates and what the coaches are looking for. But all in all, man, he definitely stood out. Monster double double, grown man double double, and it was great to see. Last but not least, Connor Vanover, 7'5" center out, Oral Roberts, very thin, but throwback center, a willing rim protector, willing. His length and his size, he was blocking shots like Tamani challenged him, and he was blocking his shots. Um, They had another Portsmouth had another center, Tyshawn Crawford, that was 7'1", 263. Uh, Vanover was blocking him and wasn't even leaving his feet. That's how tall and long he is when he stands up and when he walls up. And his instincts is great. He's not the most athletic, but he's very alert. He's very aware. He has great instincts. So, and he can get across the lane good enough where if you drive it, he's going to meet you and alter your shot, block your shot. You're going to have to really have some elite athleticism to go over him and put him in the basket. And that's just something you can't teach. He also displayed the soft touch. They threw it to him in a post. Obviously, like I said, he's thin now. He don't have a lot of strength to bang with a lot of the more established, bigger bigs coming out of college. But what he did, he held his ground in the mid post and he was hitting turnaround jumpers. He was hitting them at will. And you can't get up there. There's nothing you can do because he's already up there. He's already at a tough height, soft touch, knock it down. All you can do is pretty much foul him. And, which they did. He just didn't, really capitalize. But for him, it's just getting stronger so he can finish inside when he get those offensive rebounds and when they dish it to him inside. That's the problem with him. But I love his defensive presence. And obviously, if he hit the weight room, get stronger, he can have a presence. I'm not sure if he's an NBA player. I'm not gonna go that far. Um, if he with the G League, man, because the G League is physical as well. Maybe overseas for a touch, and then try to do G League. He really has to develop his body. But I'm making note of him because of his touch, shooting the ball, and his defensive presence inside. And as they say, you can't teach height. 7'5" is 7'5". You can get strong in the weight room, get more athletic through that, and be able to maximize that. You can do that as long as he's willing to work. But being 7'5" with that touch and the instincts defensively that he has, you just can't teach. And that's something to keep an eye on. So with that said, that's a wrap for day one. Once again, Cardo Dudley, all around. I have another episode following day two of Portsmouth Invitational. Check back with y'all soon.